We are. It's Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021. And we are on the line with my good friend, comrade in theory, comrade in intellect, Mr. Frank Venucio. And Frank is a uh, nationally syndicated talk show host. He has a television show, a radio show. He runs a think tank. He is a truly a Renaissance man, and he's a grandpa. So speaking speaking of which, man, how the kids doing? Happy Father's Day to you.
And a happy faithful Father's Day to you too, Charles. I hope you had a good one.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Hey, Frank, let's talk a little bit about uh, Lori Lightfoot. You know, Lori Lightfoot called the White House last week and said that things were out of control in Chicago, and she needed help from the White House. Well, you remember, well, maybe you don't remember, but Donald Trump offered to help um, the people out in Washington and Seattle. He offered to send the military, and he also offered to send the military into Minneapolis and Chicago. And Lori Lightfoot said, "F you." In the paper, front page of the paper, I was so embarrassed. Lori Lightfoot says to Trump, "F you." And I'm going, this is a chick. You know, she talks a good game. You know, she sits and she screams at people. They have her on tape screaming at people and cussing people out, but she can't take it. See, me, when a woman cusses me out, I cuss her right back. I try to make them cry. But anyway, what do you think about that? What did you think about that last week?
Well, it's very clear, like Mayor de Blasio of New York, these are elected officials who don't have a clue of how to do their own job, and indeed what their own job is even about. New York City Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has come up with the brilliant idea that if we eliminate jails, that we'll stop crime. New York candidate for mayor, Mayor Wiley, has said that she believes that the police should not be allowed to be issued guns during their line of work.
Wow.
So we're dealing with a group of politicians who are so clueless and so, frankly, underqualified for the jobs that they hold that it makes you wonder what the politics in this country is really coming to. New York, by the way, today is primary day in New York.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But when you talk about qualifications, their qualifications are out the window. Andrea, what's her name?
Ocasio-Cortez.
AOC. AOC was a bartender, dude. A bartender. I mean, not like she was a grad student. She was a damn bartender, you know, and she unseated a guy because she's cute. And this has become a popularity contest for political office, just as the presidency has. You know,
well, that's exactly right. You and I discussed during the Trump presidency how people were saying, well, he's not a nice man, or he doesn't really act well in public. You know, we're electing mayors and governors and presidents, not prom kings and queens, but the way the
class presidents. And so I listen to these grown people. I listen to people who are highly educated, who still don't get that we should be electing people not based on feeling, not based on how these people look, but on what they do and their qualifications. It's the most amazing. You know, I remember my daughter came home during break one day. She was home for the summer, and it was most amazing. I was just so proud of her. She looked at Mitt Romney and she looked at Barack Obama. Now she knows the latter very well because of her father and his connection to Obama and their connections to a whole bunch of other groups. And she said she made an observation because the country was in the tubs. I mean, there were no jobs, there was no growth, and I'm sure she was thinking two years out to when she graduated, what was she going to do for a job? And she said, I think the country would be better off if we had a businessman running this country. Now, this is coming from a child or a young person who's attending NYU, with a liberal bastion. Of course, it has the Stern School, and all these kids are like, get rich. You know, we're going to be the moguls of the universe. But I mean, that was her observation, that this country would be better off if we had a businessman running it, and the rest of the country couldn't see this.
You raised a good daughter, and good kudos to you for doing that. But you're right, the rest of the country doesn't see it at all. And again, these contests, if you look at even the way the presidential debates are conducted, they're less about substance than